Nick Gallo, KC Thunder. Shai, fourth time you guys have played them. Seemed like a really high-level, intense matchup tonight. How did it feel to just be kind of battling these guys again and going back and forth all night?
Yeah, it's why we play the game. You play to play the best teams in the league. You wake up for games like that. You really get to test yourself and see where you are. And it was a dogfight tonight.
It seemed like made some more plays during that 9-0 run late in the game. Anything that you noticed from a execution standpoint on either end that made the difference down the stretch?
Yeah, we didn't get the greatest shots down the stretch. They made a lot of shots down the stretch. Their size rebounding down the stretch. Just to name a few, off the top of my head.
Shai, you talked about, maybe like Chet hesitating with like a pump fake on his three, but it felt like down the stretch, not just Chet. It felt like different guys were hesitating on certain shots, and I imagine you could chalk a lot of that up to Minnesota's presence. But what did you see there? Did you sense any hesitation in those final few possessions, final few minutes?
Nah, I didn't really sense hesitation. I don't. It's hard when you're in like the heat of it to really assess. I'll probably have a better answer for you in a day or two, but I didn't feel like there was any hesitation out there.
Sure. And Mark was just in here talking about, he put you in the fourth probably as early as he has all year. He said it felt like it was just one of those games where before it got away from you guys, like he just wanted to put you in there. Just when something like that happens, does it sit in the back of your mind? Does it affect your shot selection at all? Like, do you take that with you as he puts you into almost like 2 minutes into the fourth?
No, when he puts me in, I'm ready to hoop. When I'm on the floor, I try to do what's best for myself and my teammates. I don't think about anything else.
Shai, you got a bunch of guys who haven't been through a lot of NBA seasons and some guys who haven't been through any. How much of a fight is the fatigue for guys right now, just trying to get through it?
Yeah, it's a challenge. And like you said, when you haven't done it many times or haven't done it a lot, it's hard and it's getting adjusting to. Now, with that being said, the NBA doesn't care. Your opponents don't care. Nobody cares. You got to fight through it and get it done.
7 assists in the first quarter, then 14 after that. Mark said the ball could have moved a little bit more. Being out there, what was it that made it a little bit more difficult to get the ball around?
They're a good defense. They obviously have great rim protection, size, good defenders. And when teams get solid defensively, it kind of forces you to kind of like have to break the shell of the defense and try to play one-on-one. I think that's where we were getting caught.
Is it more challenging as they change their coverages throughout the game? Like they have their big zone guards and they'll switch back to zone. Like how challenging is that? Like as you go throughout the game?
To me, it's every game. I'm used to that now. I've gotten to the point in my career where I see different coverages every night, a lot of times every quarter, different defenders, different schemes. I've seen it all.
Anybody else? We can go last one, Joel.
Shai, as Ant was just coming down the hallway, he mentioned that he couldn't wait to see you guys again. Do you share that sentiment? Is there something about this series that brings something out of you guys?
I mean, they're one of the better teams in the league, clearly, and we view ourselves as that, and there's no other way to really find out who you are in the heat of the moment, heat of the battle, when it matters most, than playing against the best. So it's not just them; it's all the other teams that are at the top of the league. We wake up for those games, and we love the challenge.
Nick Gallo, KC Thunder. Aaron, great atmosphere in there tonight. Two teams really competing. What did it feel like on the floor being in the heat of the battle?
Yeah, it was fun. Those are the games you want to be a part of. Atmosphere was great. The crowd was loud, and you could feel that there's a competitive nature on the court that you're playing for something. So it was fun.
There were so many of these like little mini runs throughout the game. They had a 9-0-1 late. Anything you noticed execution-wise either side down the stretch?
I thought there was just, throughout the whole game, things that we, could have done a lot better. Offensively executing, playing a little bit faster, and then defensively just kind of being more on top of, personnel and the way that we want to play those guys. But they played well late. They had some guys hit some good shots in that fourth quarter, and, we just came up short.
7 assists in the first quarter, then 14 after that. Mark mentioned how the ball could move a little bit better. Being out there, what are some things that you feel like that made it difficult for you guys to move the ball?
Just kind of spacing, playing, trying to get out more in transition. Just a number of things. I thought we could have had, more opportunities to create advantages on the offensive end, and we just, weren't kind of locked into the idea of, playing a little bit faster, having better spacing, and, creating those opportunities.
Anybody else? Joel?
You mentioned the spacing, and I imagine some of that is more challenging when they're sticking Rudy on Josh and Cat is on Dort. Like, just how much more challenging is that?
I mean, obviously, there's going to be different things that teams throw at you that are going to be challenging, but we've done a good job throughout the season, just kind of adapting to different looks that we've seen on the defensive end, and we were just kind of slow to react today. Just didn't pick up on certain opportunities to create more advantages based off of the way they were playing us. So.
Anybody else? Andrew?
In your 2 wins against Minnesota, you're able to get them to turn the ball over 21 times in both of those games, only 13 tonight. Is there any difference that you see in the way that maybe they took care of the ball, or maybe like defensive intensity or anything like that?
That I feel like just comes down to, certain opportunities on the defensive end. I wouldn't say there's anything different in the games that we did drastically to cause, a difference in those turnovers. But it's just opportunities that our guys typically see. We might not have had them tonight.
Do these games feel different to you? I mean, you've been here for a few years, and like you guys are playing for first place in the Western Conference. These games start to feel different.
You could feel a different atmosphere. I wouldn't say the feeling of playing the game is any different, though. We all have the same approach and all want to win. So, the game kind of feels the same, but the atmosphere, definitely uplifts the game. So,
The crowd in particular?
The crowd, yeah. There's a number of things just in terms of, once you get on the court, the competitive nature of everything. But, it's basketball at the end of the day. So, I think for the most part, most guys probably feel the same about every game.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Kenrich, what did you make of just the possession-by-possession intensity of this game and despite the result, what it might do for you guys moving forward?
It was a very intense game, very physical game. They're a great team, very good team in this league. Got to tip your hat to them. They were the better team tonight. I think this going to just kind of make us a better team and all. Like I said before, the losses that we took, especially yesterday and today, are going to make us a better team in the long run.
It's kind of been, every time you guys have played this team, it's been a bit of a tug of war between like whether you guys are getting this nice stretch of being able to score in the paint against them versus them really being able to wall things off. Have you noticed any commonalities during the times that you guys have been able to get there versus when they've done a good job?
Well, they do a good job of kind of clogging the paint with Gobert down there. He's a presence down there. They got some big guys down there. So just kind of being able to mix it in, not getting too kind of jump shot heavy, but also mixing in and getting to the rim as well. And on defense, they hit some big shots tonight. They played well, so you just got to tip your hat to them.
Kenrich, you mentioned Gobert's presence. I'm curious, what you see from him in that fourth quarter, specifically in terms of just the intimidation factor, the deterrence, and just how did you see guys maybe approach him at the rim?
Yeah, I mean, he's a force down there. You got to tip your hat to him as well. He's very big, so it's like you got to pick and choose, kind of try to get angles on him. And, I mean, he's effective down there. He's probably one of the best in the league. So just learn from it and watch the film and get better.
And as young as this team is, I think a lot of people have lauded this team because it hasn't looked that young often.
Right.
I guess as the fourth quarter was dwindling down in those final few minutes, what did you see in terms of execution, and just did you sense any level of hesitation from guys offensively?
No, not necessarily, man. Just I think we played well. At times we were trying to force things. I know I was myself, but it's just something you learn from, to be honest with you, brother. You watch film on it. Well, I'm pretty sure the coaches will set film up for us, especially there down the stretch, and it's just something that we can learn from, just kind of executing down the stretch when the game gets tight like that.
Intersect with the Athletic, just from your vantage point, how difficult does it make things when they put their bigs on guys like Lou and Josh and kind of like change up their coverages for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's not difficult, but it's more of a different look for us. It's a different look than it's been. Traditionally, guards match up with the guards and the bigs match up with the bigs. And it's just something that we kind of got to just get better at, to be honest with you. Continue to move the ball like we always do. Continue to play the right way and just trust the game.
And then your thoughts on, the January schedule has been obviously a topic of conversation recently, but just thoughts on that effect on maybe particular players tonight.
Man, this month was a brutal month, like you said, man. But we're a team full of no excuses. We have no excuses to make as a team, and every night you got to come out and perform, no matter how tired you are or how many games we played. And it's a part of the league. It's a part of kind of growing into a league as a young team. And like I said, man, you learn from stuff like this. You learn from a month like this, and you just keep getting better.
You guys have had your three lowest points in the paint output against them. Are there things that you can learn that from them that you can apply to other teams? I mean, they're one of the only teams that plays that big the whole game. So are there just some things that you can just try and apply to other teams that don't play as big?
But they're a different team. Like I said, they got a couple 7-footers down there. They got a big lineup, so they make it tough for you just to get to the rim and kind of finish. But you do learn from this. It's not necessarily you're learning from this and taking it to another game or a different team, but you learn from this and watch film and move on, man.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Mark, just some great intensity from both sides tonight. What did you think of the gameplay and the way that this one flowed?
That was obviously an elevated game. I thought both teams played really hard. I thought the way we defended, rebounded, competed on the glass really gave us a great chance throughout the game, even when we went through some offensive droughts, which obviously happened in the game. The defense kept it in a manageable place, and we were able to put some runs together and put some pressure on them. But credit them. I thought they outplayed us in the fourth, made some timely plays, but we weren't short on effort or energy tonight.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned the possession game in the last few minutes. They went on that 9-0 run. Anything execution-wise that you noticed on either side of the ball?
I thought we could have, I thought they just generated better shots in that part of the game than we did. So, again, credit them. But I just thought we competed really hard tonight, especially on the defensive end. I thought we were really physical, did the job on that end, gave ourselves a really good chance. Obviously, 107 points or whatever is enough to win on most nights for us. Offensively, we just weren't as good as we could be.
Mark, you mentioned just the way things kind of unraveled there in the fourth, and it felt like, we've talked about Chet's hesitation on spot up three some, but it felt like a lot of those guys were just hesitating some. Did you sense some of that late?
I don't know. I think we can, learn from the game. We got to stay aggressive in a game like that. I did think, in the first half and coming out of halftime, we didn't embrace the imperfection of the game. It's not going to be easy when it's two good teams going against each other in a battle like that. And then I thought, we started to solve problems together and got a little juice going, in the third. So, it was an uncomfortable game, I think, for both teams. And we got to embrace the discomfort of the game in a high-level game like that.
When you say you guys didn't embrace the imperfection of the game, what do you mean? In what way?
It's going to be hard, against a good team. When two good teams are going at it like that, possession game, it's a grind. Offense isn't coming easy to either team. It's a very physical game. That's what kind of elevated games like that feel like. And we've been great this season at kind of grinding through that. The last time we played them was a great example. I thought tonight it took us a while to get to that, and when we did in the third, we were obviously really good. We were able to take a lead into the fourth quarter. So
it's no secret. It's no secret the kind of season Rudy's had on the defensive end. I just wonder what you saw from him in that final quarter specifically to create separation.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, their whole defense tonight was really good. I thought top to bottom they really competed. I thought they did a good job of changing defenses in the first half. And keeping us off balance. I thought they competed on that end of the floor. I thought we did too. It was two really competitive teams competing hard in the game, and they obviously made a few more plays than we did.
Mark, I know everybody's pretty tired at this time of year, every team, and especially as you've talked about with January. But Chet has played every game, and he's played all 16 this month, and that's 2 college months. I just wonder if you see any particular signs with him of any of that wearing on him.
I don't know. I mean, you can ask him, but he's a competitor. He obviously didn't have his best game tonight, but I'd never make assumptions about something like that.
Season low, 34 points in the paint tonight. Was that more of a good job on them, or do you feel like you guys could have did a better job in getting there?
A little bit of both. I think a lot of it's them, and you got to have a relentlessness about you against that team. It's very difficult to get them kind of on the first crack. And I thought we left something to be desired there in the first half in terms of our willingness to grind possessions and find a crack against them. But that's why they're a good defense. They're the best defense in the NBA.
And then 7 assists in the first quarter, and then 14 from there on out. Again, do you feel like that was them, or did you feel like you guys settled a little bit more, could have moved the ball?
I mean, some of this is how they were guarding us. They were switching a lot of our stuff, and that bogs you down a little bit. So some of it's that, but obviously could have played better offensively all the way around. We played a pretty clean game. We didn't turn over very much, but certainly, to your point, could have been better in terms of our attacks, movement on some plays.
Intersect with the Athletic, J-Dub seemed pretty uncomfortable at the end of the game. Is there an update on?
No update on him or Isaiah. Isaiah was out with whatever happened to him as well, and we'll check those guys out in the morning. But both those guys were ruled out for the rest of the game.
Anybody else? Frank, got another?
Mark, there weren't like big numbers for J. Will, but it just seemed like energy-wise, that group with him in there changed the game a little bit in that third quarter. Yeah. Just wondered what you thought of what he gave you and that group together.
Yeah, I thought that group. He went in there with Kaysen and Kenrich and those guys, plus Shai and Dub, put a really good run on them, and just got energy going. And intensity, generated their own energy and intensity. J. Will does that on a regular basis. Kenrich does that on a regular basis. And they brought that to that part of the game. I think we went down 10 and ended up taking a lead. And so credit them. I mean, they were ready to play, and, we're going to need different guys on different nights. And they definitely brought us a spark in that part of the game.
Michael Martin saw a crowd. You mentioned J. Will and sort of the spark he brought off the bench. He's already this season totaled more blocks than he did last season. He's mostly known as a charge guy. Is that anything tactical you guys are asking him to do differently, or is this more on him to just go after more shots in the air?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, and he's done a good job committing to that. He's obviously a great charge taker, but especially in pick and rolls, it's difficult to take charges, with guards attacking you downhill, and so he's learned how to play two a little bit better and uses length to contest at the rim and save the charges for when he's kind of a weak side defender, which has lowered his charge numbers, but increased his impact at the rim, in totality. So he's done a really good job of evolving in that way.
Mark, it felt like Shai, to start that fourth, came in as early as he's maybe came into the fourth all year. Just what you hope to see from that and from him, and what you see as the fourth unwinded from him?
Yeah, it felt like one of those games that was a possession game, and I just, I try to be wise in terms of how I manage everybody's minutes throughout the course of a season, and it gives you the space to hit the gas on certain nights, and I decided to hit the gas tonight.
But 3 of your lowest games, points in the paint wise, came against the Wolves. What makes them different? I mean, they're not the only team besides. I know they play 2 bigs most of the game. Is that what it is, or is there something different about them?
A lot of it's Gobert. He's just there's a reason why his teams are consistently winning teams and consistently really good defensive teams. So he's got great rim protection back there. He's very difficult to move around. They do a good job of keeping him in situations where he doesn't have to move around. They do a good job of covering for him there. And so they're tough to crack as a result of that. But there's possessions where you can. And, we've had stints of games against them where we've done a really good job of attacking them that we, obviously have to learn from when we play them. We're done with them right now. But, he's certainly got a lot to do with that. He's a force back there. Give him a lot of credit.
Anybody else?